Okay, I am not gonna lie to you when I say I'm a bit shook for this message before it even begins. Let me just make sure that we're all logged in. I know that it's chaotic right now. For you, this is how you could feel. I'm hearing this is you being wrapped up in the whirlwind. I'm seeing Dharma, so this is a rapid unfoldment of your life path happening right now because you're in alignment with what your incarnation intentions are. Okay, so you're coming into alignment with what your soul desires to express and experience. I'm hearing also what's encoded for you to experience in this physical material plane. I'll be good, we're not going to collapse. Maybe. When I tell you I got woken up out of my slumber, I didn't know what I was in for when I was tuning into this energy in the field. I'm going to backtrack real quick to catch you up to speed because this is just one of those messages. Last night, I was working through a huge sacral chakra clearing, and I went into the astral realm with the intention to, you know, just pick up some little messages for you, right? I didn't know what I was in for, and that was on the night of the 𝓬𝓰. So this is almost a follow-up, especially if the message from If This Found You on a Sunday came through in your field. This is like the, I'm hearing interlude or the, you know, the next chapter, or I guess the next meeting. Because, oh my God, I'm just going to be sharing these astral travel messages with you. Again, literally, I don't have, I guess it's just go time with this message. I don't have any specific structure. I'm just going to read to you the notes that came through in the astral, because when I say I was in and out and the scenes were so huge and massive, I'm seeing like a massive ripple effect. Yeah, like I feel like I even have busted, but it's not about me. This is about you, so I'm just gonna put that aside real quick. But yeah, this is how you're gonna know the message is for you. It's from this card, all right, and you'll see why. We're gonna get to it. The card is all about star, gate, heart, and it's about the heart chakra opening, unlocking, and generosity. Something that you're giving from the expression of your soul. Also, love that you've withheld that has been the same pain you've carried from lifetime to lifetime. And I'm seeing something finally being released through your being. And as that happens, it flows and activates all of these different experiences that are encoded into your field for your soul to play, discover, and interact with. I'm hearing it's an interactive element within the physical, tangible plane. So let me go and read the message from this, and then we're going to dive straight into the astral realm. All I know is this message has to go out today. This message, it could feel like a tower moment for you in many ways, where again the carpet has been swiped from underneath your feet and it's sending you on the most magical carpet ride, where this moment of destabilization becomes the reason for your transformation, where things can't go back to the way that they once were, simply because your consciousness has expanded into new dimensions where it can no longer return back to its old form. Because the way that I feel doing this message, like my whole morning routine is kind of disrupted, it's kind of up in the air. Usually I go and train before I get ready, like for the day, and you know, but it feels like everything just got turned upside down, inside out. So this is the message. Again, it's not about me, but it's fine. All right, your heart space is sacred, deep within you. For some time, you have protected it with psychic shields that have not only stopped you from being hurt, but stopped you from feeling love. This gateway appears to tell you that you have finally dropped these shields and are ready to experience love. Universal wisdom wants you to know that it's your divine right. You're a highly empathetic and generous soul who has so much to give, and you're being called forth to reveal the deeper and more vulnerable aspects of yourself. So that vulnerability becomes a bridge to connection. This could be, for example, you feeling vulnerable in the things that you're creating, things that are an expression of your soul, manifest in form, an extension of you. Divine light beings are surrounding you, holding you, and encouraging you to relax. All the restrictions from your heart space and blockages are now being removed. The West is behind you and the world needs you. I'm seeing this as ancestral energy, like ancestral energy, something that has occurred from lifetime to lifetime. Are you ready for these messages? My love, are you ready for these messages? I don't think I'm ready. That's why I'm like trying to propose. Okay, I'm going to start with the first astral scene. Again, this is completely free flow, so if you know the vibe, you know the vibe. The first thing I was shown in the astral was the spiritual sun being the North Star, and you having a clear sense of direction. I was being shown you, this being, and the cycles that you were moving through when it comes to a rebirth in your own life. I'm seeing it as a renewal process, and it was activated the first day of summer. And it was a reminder that nature does not attach, and it understands the value of everything, every stage, every step within its own evolution journey. Within that, I was reminded of this essence where there were deep insights of this being that you are receiving that is deeper than those that have come before. I'm also seeing those who have come before. So there could be something around deep, introspective, reflective connections that are beginning to ripple through your reality. I'm hearing also a deeper relationship that many of you are fostering to your connection to the other side, to the invisible, hidden architecture of this reality. It could be guides, whatever that is. I spoke about the cycles that were about to switch again. And I was being shown that you couldn't go back to the way that things once were. There was an essence of you living in the present moment and being grateful that every single moment for the eternal being experiencing these temporal moments through space-time is unique within its design. It's always designed to be in benefit for you, for whatever the soul desires to experience at that stage of its evolution. There was this knowing that you couldn't go back to the same things, people, or places, because on a cellular level, you had changed and you were not the same. So the whole message was essentially all about understanding the value of every phase in your life and allowing a certain phase to complete itself. It feels like there's a final seal that's happening around you, around your whole being, just something that's cascading, and I'm hearing emanating through your very presence. It's something that's not announced. It's just a full owned embodiment. So yeah, you couldn't return, and you cannot return to people, circumstances, or places as the same person, because you're literally not the same person. I see this as, you know, other humans in the system, they are encoded, their nervous system is encoded in such a way and programmed in such a way to expect a certain version of us. But I'm hearing what happens when that gets blown up out of proportion, blown up out of the waters. That's the saying that's coming through, where there's a shift, almost like vertigo, where the world stops spinning and suddenly they regain their sight or vision, and you're no longer the same person. Does this make sense? It's like you're forced to create a new point of reference. That could be from something that you're doing that's unexpected. I don't know, we're going to read on this energy. And the question was whether we can stop trying to create what was once and trust that there's something far more powerful that is waiting for you within the unknown. Something within you has already changed when it comes to the recognition I'm seeing of what awaits you in quantum potential. So there could be a way that you're applying yourself, or a way that you're being called to apply yourself. We're going to get a message before we move on to the next scene to see it up this faster. Yeah, Pluto, are you freaking kidding me? And then you have, what are you up to? Okay, what are you up to? Okay. I'm feeling like I'm getting shy reading this energy. Okay, are you freaking kidding me? This message is going to find you right before you're about to take off, because I was literally looking into this last night when it comes to the golden ratio of when someone is about to take off. So I'll actually talk about that before we move on to the next message. But listen to this, right? I'm going to read it. I'm not even going to talk about it. I'm just going to read it because it's going to speak for itself. Pluto talks about an unavoidable transformation. Literally what we just spoke about, where like the laws that were once binding Pluto as part of the solar system began to change. So I'm seeing this as physical laws in the way that, you know, you see yourself when it comes to your belief systems, because you're an entire universe experiencing itself as human. And so there are certain physical laws that define and govern how fluidly you can move through the system. I'm hearing how abundantly you move through the system as you remember yourself as what it is that you've always been, which is a highly abundant being. And you're just clearing up distortions that have obstructed the way that you see yourself or your own potential. Something is shifting. Hold on. I'm trying to find the P real quick because I don't even want to edit this message. I just want to get it out there as soon as possible. So ASAP, right? All right, this talks about an unavoidable transformation that you're going through. This is part of your ascension process though. Okay, once upon a time, a planet named Pluto was once part of our solar system. Pluto belonged to our family for many years, and one day the laws keeping Pluto as one of us changed. But who was in charge? What happened? What laws? We could debate this for hours. There were some who considered it a planet and others who did not. The silver lining of the story is that Pluto soon found its new tribe. Without much need for recognition, 𝓦𝓸𝓻𝓵𝓭 and many others were always there among the so-called dwarf planets to welcome him home. It says, if you don't belong, then don't belong. The longer that you hold on to releasing what no longer feels like it's in alignment with your highest expression at this stage of your journey, the longer you also postpone the new from coming in, because there's something around the pause for a new flow that you're going through where you're being called to create this space required. I'm also seeing it's expanding your capacity to fill up that space, and it just feels like something is decreasing in volume in your life and it's increasing in concentration. Does this make sense? More like quality over quantity type of energy. And I keep being shown the nucleus of a family. So if you don't know the nucleus of a family, I've done teachings on this before. And it's essentially how we're drawn in through our subconscious core belief systems or the wounds that maybe we've even inherited generationally. And so it brings us into this cluster of people or timelines or experiences that are in resonance with the theme that the soul's currently moving through. And as you begin to, I'm seeing pattern recognition with Pluto, discover what that theme is, you actually begin to decode what that theme is, then you have the opportunity to mirror a different example. And as you break away from the ways that you've reinforced previous ways of being, and you actively disrupt your own comfort zone and also the comfort that other people have found in attaching to a certain identity or version of self that you've been, as soon as you step away or break that mold, it becomes incredibly disorientating for those around you, because you're breaking down those synapses that were formed, which are just something that's been reinforced time and time again, that create these established bonds or networks. And as that disrupts, you also simultaneously build, I'm seeing, new bridges of connections. And that could be either the connection that you fostered or that you're building with yourself, where this version of you is going to come with you everywhere that you go. But there's something like that that's happening because it's internal synapses within our neurological pathways that are then projected holographically into this construct, because we are existing and participating in a holographic construct. Then you have flight. So part of this is part of your flight to success. It talks about the opposite of standing still. That's the emphasis of this card. So there's some kind of, it talks about rise to success, and then you have solar flares. So this is something that you've previously withheld from doing, but it's now being unleashed from your very being. Does this make sense? It kind of feels like a walk-in type of energy where you're literally anchoring. I'm seeing in your higher self in physical form, you're blossoming into your higher self. And I'm seeing that as the crown. So this is conscious creation from the crown. Okay, so let me read to you the solar flares energy, because this could be channeled into a project or something you're doing, even if you are that project. I'm seeing also this season of your life being that project too. Just hold on. I feel like, Jesus, you know? All right, solar flares, a tipping point before the loss of stability. So this is a collapse of an old way of being, collapsing of an old world. Flares are characterized by emotions with lots of sudden energy. They release unexpectedly a large amount of energy that was previously withheld. Again, I'm seeing this as rerouting. You're no longer part of your local universe. You've now done something, or you're embodying a new way of being where you're literally embodying a parallel version of self inside of your local timeline. And the continuum is beginning to collapse because, like, you know, reality is now reconfiguring itself. Your consciousness has traveled into a new event. You're embodying that new event. I'm hearing you are that horizon where now reality is rising up to meet and greet this version of yourself. There's something about meet and greets and like Six of Wands energy. So it could be public recognition of some kind. Anyway, this event is a double-edged sword, but also a direct turning point for you. So again, it's very bittersweet because you cannot fit, seeing like you know, when kids play that game and they have different patterns, I'm seeing, of behavior, but they have the star, they have the rectangle, they have the circle. Yeah, you can't fit a star inside of a box. That's what I'm seeing. You can't fit a star inside of this square shape. It just doesn't fit. So I'm seeing it as jigsaw piece puzzles being rearranged. So this is the perfect time with the sun's energy when moved in large quantities and acted upon, can create the ideal combination to start projects, make decisions with entire direct actions, and find yourself standing in an entirely active point. This is the opening of a wormhole, because when we collect many photons, which are carriers of information that are emitted from the sun, from plasma, this intercommunication with source, that electrical communication actually leads you into deeper alignment with your purpose, with why it is that you're here. And I'm seeing that that is something that you're beginning to organize your life around. It's some type of hero's journey. And we even have unlocking power here at the base too. Okay. You've been seeing where you've been the only one that's getting in your own way. The illusion is that anyone was ever in your way, because it is you. It always has been. It always will be. This also talks about, if well managed, it generates beauty, enthusiasm, and a color of auroras, which is bioplasma beings. But flares are also much more than large energy centers and events. If the when to stop is not considered, they can be explosive. So it talks about there's no more time left to action the inaction. It's the integration of the masculine and feminine energy, which is essentially something that you're being called to channel now in the physical. Cell at the base is something that you're remembering how to do, or remembering that this was always part of your path, because at the nucleus of the cell, you have the DNA, which stores the memory. I'm going to read cell as well, because this is important. It's the fundamental basis of not allowing external thoughts, opinions, I'm hearing, or perceived limitations to govern the way that you feel about yourself, your own potential, or your relationship to this area of your life, because it just feels like the higher self is bleeding in to every area of your life. Now, this talks about the key to success. There's 3 parts to the cell, and one of them is the cellular membrane, the nucleus, and the cytoplasm. So this part is the cell membrane, and it basically acts as a gatekeeper that controls what comes in and out, right? What penetrates your auric field. This is also the center core of your being, and you can think about this as the aura, and then you have many layers to the aura, so this will continue circling out, all right? And it's many different chakra layers. Anyway, not the point. I've got teachings on that. So the cytoplasm is the fluid within our cells, and and the cell membrane controls what comes in and out. It talks about being aware of the energy of what we surround ourselves, feed ourselves, and allow to enter into our aura. Maintain a sense of fluidity to let things happen. Inside the cell is the nucleus, which contains the DNA. The truth can always be found inside the nucleus, and it always is what sets us free. What's important cannot be seen, but it's still there working in full simplicity and humility. So this is like your soul's essence. It can't be seen, I'm hearing, at like face value. What does that mean? At face value, taking something at face value. We'll use that as a keyword real quick. However, the creation of what stems from it, or the expression or extension of it, can be seen. Okay, something that the soul creates. I'm going to quickly utilize that as a keyword. What's the definition of at face value? Something cannot be seen. At face value means accepting something exactly as it appears without looking for a hidden meaning or questioning whether there is more beneath the surface. So yeah, you cannot take something at face value, which means the truth cannot be fully seen from the outside. There may be something deeper hidden or not immediately visible. Yeah, this isn't something that you're necessarily announcing. It's just something that you're choosing to, you know, art in action is also in action. There's something that I'm hearing, not participating is also a choice. So I'm just seeing it as redirection of life force in some way, where you're being really, really intentional with where your attention is flowing. This reminds me of the Gemini new moon to full moon reading that we did, so I'll link that down below, and I talk about how you have 1 lunar cycle to prepare for this. So it feels like there's, again, something increasing in concentration as it decreases in volume. Now let me share with you the next astral travel message. The next scene I was shown was this queen bee, and I said, why do we attach to trying to save or change nature's perfect design and natural order? Of each system, a precise moment was never designed to be replicated or reinvented, but embraced through the every now moment. whom you are, where you are, and what you do? Can you trust that there is something far more powerful that awaits you in the unknown? So of course the queen bee is like the hive mindset, but she is also the leader, where she sends out this transmission, she sends out this signal, and it talks about the intelligence of natural order itself. So I'm seeing it as this self-organized system that you're immersed in, where, you know, each being, each role that we play, whether that's the role that we play in others' lives or the role that others play in our life, serve a purpose within this interconnected system, this interactive system. And every moment that you've been in has been designed for the precise theme that your soul has been moving through. And so the teaching is a lot to do with tendency to interfere, right? The ego's tendency to interfere with nature's natural design. So I'm seeing this as kind of you being a force to be reckoned with as well during this time, where your success really becomes inevitable with whatever your definition of success is at this stage of your life. And we cannot try to preserve or change something because we're attached to the form that it once held. This is a mold that you're breaking out of with that Pluto energy, but it's also the mold in which maybe you've created as a shell of your being. I'm hearing that has kind of encased or protected your true self from emerging. And nature doesn't attempt to replicate a past moment or a past version of itself. So there's something that you have evolved beyond as you come back to living in the present moment. You know, it kind of reminds me of who are you from this moment moving forward. If you were to reinvent yourself, if you were to write yourself a new story, just know that you may like this one better. That's the type of essence. Like, I don't know how far along in this space-time travels, whatever your earthly age is, it doesn't matter. Once consciousness is awake in the system and that fractal awareness becomes conscious awareness, it begins to behave very, very differently. What do you want to do from this moment moving forward? Because you're literally being given a new lifetime within this lifetime alone. This is, you know, again, who you are, maybe what it is that you'll do. It's all part of the design. It's always been part of your design. And what has been, you know, preventing you from fully inhabiting the present moment fully, not allowing the past to define you, but instead becoming more refined through those experiences. So let's go ahead and take a look at the queen bee energy. I kind of want to take a look at the Magic of the Gathering deck for this. I'm hearing circling back around. Ooh, you have quite a few. What the heck? All right, look at this. The first one is be unstoppable. I can't not be, you know, I cannot really be someone with a great poker face. I do try, but I'm really excited. Then you have you are your words. So there's something that you're literally speaking to creation, where you are your words. Then you also have the power of your words. So you're literally speaking something into creation. And then you have firepower. So I'm seeing this as the fire breath. It kind of reminds me of the reading that we did around breathing into a center, 1 inch behind the bridge of your nose, and breathing into that dragon's breath that we had, where you're breathing a new timeline. There's that type of essence that's happening, where I'm seeing the eternal essence will be revealed. And it's so funny because from that message the other day, I haven't even used these cards yet, so I haven't shuffled them. You have the travel of the dragon and the breathing, so that's also being activated. You also have find your treasure here at the base. I'm going to go ahead and read this, but I also want to share with you this note that I had last night, which is, I'm hearing words that are unspoken. Okay, so the moment that you choose to create a life that matches the truth of your soul, the invisible phase that no one sees, that everything depends on, your success becomes inevitable. Like the work that you've been doing that's been unseen behind the scenes, we always see the outcome, we always see the product, we always see the end goal, the destination, but not all the work required to build us up into the version that is capable of being able to cross the finish line on race day. We don't see that preparation. It's something that many of us are actually kind of desensitized to. So there's an element of physical application, physical work that you've been doing. You've been doing so much work that's been changing your inner architecture, but from the outside, it hasn't looked like anything has been happening. But as you continue on the hero's journey and you continue doing the invisible work, and you have this relentless devotion to your craft or something that you're, I'm hearing, excelling at, It reminds you of 10,000 hours. You know, you invest 10,000 hours before you become a master in that realm of play. There's that type of essence when it comes to your soul's creation. But then we eventually hit this point where things begin to become noticeable from the outside, especially if anyone's really paying attention. You can see that they can now see that you've reached a point of inevitability. The way that you invested so much energy, so much life force, intention is kinetic energy, especially when supported with action. It creates momentum, it creates velocity. We become, I'm seeing a kinetic velocity generator where you are the portal. These are things that just bleed through you. The opportunities are stemming from you. They're being manifested from you because you literally have created such as a powerful vortex. Like you are that portal of creation where, you know, people see, well, this person is going places because they refuse to back down. They continue going to the comedian gigs, or they continue painting even if no one is buying that artwork yet. Like they are already living as that version of self as if it were, despite outer temporary conditions. All right, that's what I'm seeing. Again, that could be the face value thing. Like, who does this person think they are? The audacity. It's like you're already living in that version of reality before it fully corresponds or mirrors or reflects that version of you. It kind of reminds me of treating your hobby as a full-time job. Oh my god, I just got a notification and it says grand forces and dreams are guiding you now. Develop your inner spirit and spread your wings. Embrace your imagination. This is a time for your dreams to take flight. Are you freaking kidding me, bro? Yo, I know this message has to go out like today. So yeah, it's inevitable when you put so much effort and you put so much work into something, even if you're not receiving that reward right away, and you're still having this relentless devotion towards it, and you keep realigning your will, remembering your why, and your why is something that keeps you going. Then it doesn't matter how many bumps are on the road. Nothing is going to take you off course. Nothing's going to steer you into off direction. Again, you are unstoppable. You are a force to be reckoned with. This is inseparable. You are the path. You know, it's not a path that you're walking. You are the path. You become the embodiment of the path itself. So let me go ahead and read these messages for you as well. I have no clue where the book is. This is a spontaneous message. Okay. Now, yeah, there's so many times that you could have quit, yet you're still not. So this feels like just a big fat confirmation message, like just a reflection. Be unstoppable. Oh, all right. Wait, this is the last message. When you come to the inflection point, that's where all your invisible work behind the scenes becomes visible in the external, like all your inner will, your devotion, your, unseen work. It reminds you of bamboo season. Oh, that's a message. We're going to circle back around to that. I know that this is chaotic, but I know that there's a cosmic secret ordering to it, and you're going to hear exactly what you need to hear. Again, I wasn't prepared for everything. If you think that I'm talking fast, sometimes you should feel the rate of the information that's coming in. Sometimes I'm like, okay, let me hold that there. We'll come back to that. We'll hold that there. We'll come back to it. So that's what's happening, right? And this fear that you're feeling is always proof that you're seated at the edge of your local cluster and you're about to take off and into an entirely new realm of experiences. I'm seeing literally stepping into a complete new universe as the version of self that you've built yourself to be. Everything you've been weaving, everything that you've been constructing behind the scenes now begins to fall into alignment. That wave comes in like a tsunami. And that's just the beginning point, because those inflection points, you'll continue to build momentum on top of each other. You'll never return back to the old version of self or the reality that you were once in, and there's just this coherent expansion that continues to happen across the rest of your space-time travels. So if there's that method for sustainable success, it's your capacity to have that coherent expression of your soul, and all the years or months of work that you've been doing, the bamboo roots that grow beneath the surface for like 2-3 years before they shoot up. I'm going to go ahead and read you my bamboo download is the version of self that you've built yourself to be. So you're creating the proper internal conditions before the external matches that, where there is no contradiction between you and this reality, because you've built yourself into the version of self that is sustainable, that is going to be able to sustain and hold that level of reality. There is no imposter syndrome. It is you. You are it. That's the energy that's coming through, right? So let me go ahead and read Bamboo Season, and then we'll continue, because I already know, otherwise I'm going to forget this, and I'm getting fat deja vu right now. So yeah, so it's your bamboo season. This date could be specific for someone. I just got another notification. It says, you communicate with energy and excitement. You can light up a room. When it comes to storytelling and entertaining, you're a natural. So that could be confirmation for someone, but that's a pattern reminder. That's so the vibe today. I'm so excited to be sitting here with you right now. So anyway, 28th of April, 2025 could be significant for someone. It's your bamboo season. In this message, I said that bamboos grow quickly, sending up new shoots from the ground that can reach their full height in 2 to 3 months. You might be inside that window right now, honey, okay? Outside of the growing season, bamboos continue to grow underground, pumping water to support their leaves and expanding its root mass. I'm not being funny when I say that you're about to take off. I don't know if you're about to get famous, or it's not even because you want to be, but it's because of the impact or what it is that you're going to do with it. I have about 5-6 different messages that are all collapsing into one right now. So it just feels like there's all these parallel timelines that are bleeding into each other, where you're rapidly going to be accelerating along your path. It's definitely the quiet before the storm for you. So I also said, because I know something that most people don't, and this is what I know, that bamboo season is coming. A bamboo plant spends those 3 years growing roots under the soil so that when bamboo season arrives, it has the foundation it needs to thrive and keep growing. And once bamboo breaks through the soil to the surface where you can actually see it, the same seemingly slow growing plant, taken care of properly, then grows at the rate of 2 inches per hour. That means within a 24-hour period, the bamboo plant that seemed non-existent for 3 years now grows up to 4 feet within 24 hours. They accelerate and grow at a rate that's almost unheard of. This is you. Okay, this is you. One day, there's nothing there. Not even a little green nub above the surface. And the next day, there's a 4-foot tall bamboo plant. If you've planted it, you've sown it, and you've readied yourself for it. Regardless of what it is for you, your bamboo season is coming. It will be the most glorious season of your life so far because you'll accelerate at a rate that's unheard of. You will have overnight success. You'll be so damn successful that you'll speed past all the other plants that have been growing above ground for years. You will have mind-blowing results, success, blessings, miracles, and more. So much so that you will wonder how it was possible for things to have been growing so slowly prior to this. All because you're willing to continue to trust, continue to sow, and continue to have the craziest freaking faith ever. Your bamboo season is coming. It's coming. And all that matters between now and then is what you choose to believe, sow, and have faith in. Yeah, and that was a message that I had because I was dreaming of bamboos, and it's coming back around. That bamboos in the astral realm also represent personal growth and development. Just as a bamboo grows rapidly, our spiritual journey can experience exponential growth. Bamboo is a symbol of flexibility. So flexibility in the face of adversity mirrors the adaptability required in life challenges. And I also dreamt of a panda as well, which represents spiritual strength, power, and also the growth of your unconscious mind, but good luck and good fortune that comes to you, and personal boundaries that are going to be required. This was from an astral travel message. 30th of August 2022 could be significant for someone, where I saw you remember which path, and the fact that this all stemmed from an astral message back then, and this message that I was being summoned. When I say summoned, there's a disruptive force, right? There's an unstoppable force that literally like completely recalibrated whatever this daily routine is going to look like for me after this message. So the message was, in this astral travel, this has been happening in layers. Something has been happening in the unseen realms far before it manifests in the physical. I watched somebody take a random path. This is you, I'm now realizing, and they took a left path, which is the feminine. So you took a path that led to you really following through on your soul's calling. That's what you're doing. The idea of the left side of anything is a dream that will have associations with something that has not been tried before, or something different from what you normally do. Since the right is the accepted path, going left shows a new way or a new approach, or taking the road not trodden, right? The road that's not being taken. Anyway, I saw someone really ending up succeeding, and the last message was trying to break through a ceiling where what feels like it's been your ceiling is about to become your floor. I also said in this message, remember this, a man's worth is built in the shadows. While others are seeking attention, be the one focused on building. The results will speak for themselves. Yeah, this is it. It's the most glorious season. You're about to grow at a rate that's unheard of. Jesus. Can I just say congratulations in advance? Let's read these messages, and then I guess we're going to go on to the rest of the astral travel messages, because I need to get this out, and then I'll see you later, you know? It's that type of energy. So be unstoppable. You have a power within you, an inner resolve that makes you unstoppable, which you can access when you know what you truly value. When you merge this resolve with your passion, you can move mountains. Don't get lost in fear, doubt, and connect to the earth as you find strength in your core. Speak your truth and don't get pushed around. Bellow like a bull if you must. Then you are your words. So there's something around the force of creation, because again, this is a vocal box of creation. It's a center portal of creation that has the potential to alter your timeline mid-scene. I'm seeing it as abracadabra, like you have the magician's touch. Abracadabra, I speak this into creation. And I remember thinking that in the astral realm when I was seeing you, I was like, oh yeah, this person. And what's crazy is that you are your words comes right before Unstoppable in the book. So this is literally all in order. It's all in alignment. This says, when we speak, we can speak from a space of confidence, kindness, love, uncertainty, or fear. Next time, before you speak, see if you can find out what space you're speaking from. Do you need to change that space? I'm seeing it as also not making decisions that feel like there's this pressure or this fear. It's a decision that you're making from an act of love, not a call for love, right? You're doing things from love, not for love. It's very, very different. And I'm hearing that power of love instead of the love of power is what will define you, okay? That's where the measured stems from the immeasurable. Deep what I just said for a second, because that's going to distinguish the different beings that come into alignment with this message. If that triggers some, yeah, there's something that you're still moving through, and that could be an internal shift. Some of you already know what I'm saying when I say there's a difference between the love of power and the power of love. There's a difference when it comes to doing things from love and not doing things for love. Everything's an act of love or a call for love or a call for attention. It's not a, hey, I'm doing this because it's a look at me. This is a, oh no, I'm doing this because this is something beyond me. Like this is a conduit. You know, the position of an artist is a humble one. All right. I just have to say that because I don't want things to be distorted. I really value being just a clear vessel and channel. So yeah, next time before you speak, see if you can find out what space you're speaking from. Do you need a change in that space? If there is an area in your life where what you want and what is showing up is not in alignment, look and see if your words honor both your logic and your heart. When our heart and our minds are not coming from the same space, we often wind up wanting one thing and getting another. Again, this is you moving through total coherence. There's not an incongruency behind the path that you know that you should be walking and the path that you're actually walking. There's no internal conflict. It's I'm walking in alignment with my divine assignment. It's that energy. I'm fully in alignment. I'm organizing my life around, I'm hearing my will. You keep reorganizing your life around your will. It's inevitable. Okay, there's something around not being stubborn, but being like, you know, it's just tunnel vision. It's that type of energy where you're just locked in, and this is a message to just keep looking in. Power of words and then firepower. Let's go ahead and read this real quick. Now, firepower is, I feel like the last time this message came through, we were probably in the Giza Plateau, and we were right before the Sphinx, and I was talking about how that aligns with you know, obviously the Leo type archetype, which is ruled by the sun. So there's some type of powerful force. Human beings want to be free. We want to choose our own destiny. If something is holding you back, break the chains, unleash your inner fire and use it to fuel your actions. It's time for a breakthrough. Find out what drives you and your actions. Are you in control of that force, or is it controlling you? Can you watch your reaction as if it's happening and get into the driver's seat to consciously steer your action instead of unconsciously reacting to it? And obviously that came through with the power of words. I'm seeing this as the nodal axis shift, because this is very much Aquarius versus Leo archetype, which is not just about you doing things for self-serving motives, but instead it's what you're contributing towards collective timelines. And as you live in accordance with your own soul and you embody what that looks like and you mirror what that looks like, and you're okay with, and this was one of the messages, I think it's coming up soon, with kind of looking silly in the act of pursuing your soul's intentions in the physical realm, you found another level of freedom in the game. Do you use your language consciously? Language is a powerful tool, so be thoughtful when using it. Be aware of the language that you use. Again, this is your connection to the ego and the spirit, merging your divine nature with your human nature and seeing them as inseparable from one another. How does the divine express itself through your human nature? So yeah, that's like your main message. Get back to basics. Get back to basics when it comes to this. God of language and civilization. Right. Let's leave that there. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the next scene. So this was interesting. This next scene, it got me, right? I was going into this place to collect my oracle cards, and I was speaking to one of you beings at the top. What I was shown was the Star of David, and it was from this Gateway of the Light activation deck. So we're going to pull from this. And the number on the deck was 84. That could be significant for someone. The artwork was different on this deck, and that's how I knew I was in the astral realm, because I could tell I was in a parallel, because there was no Star of David within this deck, and the image and illustrations were very, very different. And so it reminded me of this card of the heart space, and that's how I knew this message was for you. And I said, that's interesting. This card doesn't come out often. And just before that scene, I was basically being shown this girl that kept putting on lipstick, and she kept putting on these different layers and colors. And there were just so many layers that everything, you know, just looked so cakey. So she decided to wipe it all off and start fresh again. And my thought process on watching that whole thing unfold was that that's the point. It's about embracing the imperfect journey, you know, not waiting for the right moment or the perfect moment, but doing it imperfect. Because what you see as a work in progress, others already see as a masterpiece. Even if that's you starting this ace in your life, I'm kind of seeing as wiping the slate clean. Now, of course, when we talk about the Star of David, you have two interlocking triangles that represent the union of opposites. So it's a lot to do with the divine masculine and the divine feminine. It's about spirit descending into matter and ascending back towards spirit. It's that type of energy. So it can symbolize the merging between the higher self and the lower self, and bridging heaven onto earth, and also embracing both the visible realm and the invisible realm. I'm hearing how you're guided by an invisible force, a higher force, an intangible hand, as you move through the physical realm, as you move through the material world. And you know, that just brings us back to not escaping the human experience, not trying to transcend it, but instead being able to see through the illusion of this construct clearly, and just merging your heart together with your human mind. And then 84 reduces to 12, which is then corresponds with the number 3, and that brings themes of completion, integration, as well as creation. So this is something that's flowing from you. I'm just going to go ahead and get a quick message for this one from this deck and see what that entails for this Star of David. So your message there is star gathering, soul family, stars aligned, remembering home. So again, there's some type of parallel that's bleeding in from other quantum non-local connections that you have. You're going to remember your interconnectedness to all things. These are beings that are also encoded into your field, and I'm hearing into this timeline, into this continuum that you're walking, to assist you on this path. So just know that. I'm going to read the Star Gathering card, but of course it's all about alignment with soul family. It's all to do with, okay, you're completely in alignment with the things that you're here to do. You know, I'm not telling you anything new when it comes to this. I'm just going to read the energy real quick, and then we'll move on to the next scene. Star Gathering says the stars have aligned and you found the lost pieces of yourself and your energy, and now it's time to shine. You're magnetic and attracting people, energies, and opportunities that will allow your dreams to unfold. This is a time of wishes fulfilled. All of your dedication, focus, and dreaming has paid off, and you can now reap the rewards. It's important for you to know that this plane of existence is your rightful place, and not to spend, literally what we said, too much time trying to transcend this reality, for you chose to be here at this time. On the money. Make the most of this powerful opportunity. If you're feeling particularly connected to certain individuals at this time, then know you're finding your star family. Yeah, I'm getting clarification right now. So what's going on in your world? What's going on when it comes to your earthly timelines? Because there's something more, let's just say multidimensional, interdimensional, that's unfolding. I'm hearing through you. Also know that beings that you've connected with before you entered into this physical incarnation within this coordinate in the universe is, it's activating. So as long as you are connected to yourself, you are home. You're going to see that mirrored through the realm around you. I feel like we mentioned this earlier. I was saying something around this theme. You're going to know what that was. I don't know. Okay, so the next scene was this girl that was hiding inside of a crypt, and she was moving through old wooden and brick passageways into the cold and dark chamber that was representing a descent into her own unconscious mind, where I'm seeing it as you recovering the gifts of your soul that you never felt safe to fully express. That could be because you were persecuted in these parallel lives, and I'm hearing that pattern of behavior has been carried with you from lifetime to lifetime, because the body remembers something that the mind hasn't lived in this life. And so, you were taught to suppress these aspects of self, essentially. And there was an incoming force of a storm that appeared to be this feminine power. It kind of reminds me of Black Moon Lilith energy. So it's where you were taught, oh, you should feel shame around this thing, or that you'll be rejected if you do this thing, or you'll be exiled. But that's also part of your initiation in this life. And something had grown too large for it to be contained. And I'm seeing this as an essence within you that is desiring to be expressed. And hiding from it suggested like this fear of what would happen if you unleash this power into the world, if it was fully felt, expressed, and embodied, and you saw it from the perspective of play. So this could be a part of you or your own fear that has been waiting for that chaos to pass, maybe for the voice of fear to kind of subside. And I'm hearing that happens the moment that we begin to observe it and recognize that as a localized aspect of us, but it's not our whole. That part of us is asking to feel safe, it's asking to be held and feel secure. So yeah, I see that as something that can no longer be suppressed. I'll go ahead and get a message for that too. Let me see. Let's get a Shaman's Dream Oracle for this. And again, with Black Moon Lilith, the moment that the person begins to own this aspect of themselves that has been taught to keep itself hidden, it actually becomes a deep point of inspiration. So you have a magician sword, confidence in your magic, and falling angel, spiritual narcolepsy. So this is about not falling asleep on this power that you hold. This is a tool for action, not contemplation. This is about what are you going to do with it. Don't sleep on this potential. Don't sleep on this tool that you have. Don't sleep on this gift that you have. I'm hearing it's supposed to be expressed in the material plane. Let me read to you 37. Oh my goodness, I was not expecting this message to be so long. Confidence in your magic, but it has to get out. Nothing can stop you, the beauty that you seek. This is where you're being called to cut the cords that bind you to old thought forms, beliefs, or friends that are not true. With the power of the magician's sword, nothing can stop you, hurt you, or turn you away from the beauty that you seek or the goal that you desire with all of your heart. The sword is a tool, not a weapon, so make sure you wield it wisely for the greater good. Find the stuck places that have kept you tethered to a toxic person, particular location, or a faulty thought or belief, and let the blade do its magic. You'll have a large endowment of magic available to you when you believe in miracles. Don't look to the heavens to grant you for a wish. Instead, look within. It kind of reminds me of Aladdin and the genie, and it's like, Aladdin discovers that it's him that will, make see to fruition every dream in which he's held within his heart manifest into the physical realm. So this is limiting beliefs, and focus your intention in creating what it is that you wish. You have the tools that you need for the task at hand. You only need to muster the wherewithal to deploy the resources that you have. When the magician's sword appears, it's time to get moving. There's a message for someone when it comes to there's a message coming through when it comes to, you don't have to be great to get started, but you do have to get started to become great at something. This is about walking a path of integrity. You know, this is really what it is. The path of the integral path is not seeking for external witnesses. Become your own witness. Don't seek for external approval or applaud, but instead become your own approving force and clap for yourself. When the Magician's sword appears, it's time to get moving. This is not a tool for contemplation, for gazing at the finely polished edge. It's an instrument for calling decisive action. Remember, the sword is alive with a wisdom that can summon to help you find the best course of action. Do not hesitate, act. You know what Spirit's showing me? There's a specific scene that's coming through when it comes to someone on Broadway or someone on the stage. And they're dancing on the stage, even if the entire theater is full of empty seats. And as they're dancing on the stage, there's people that are walking by and they're seeing this act of creation that's happening, where this soul is just creating for creation's sake, not creating because of how they're going to be perceived. They're not attaching to the recognition of something that they do that's an expression of them. It feels like the assemblage point. So it's where you begin to, take on the physical form of your soul's essence through that play and creation. And then they start attracting this audience, but they don't even realize it until they begin to stand still. I'm seeing, so what are you creating from that place, from that highly conducive container? There's that type of essence of that, cultivating from you. And so falling angel, spiritual narcolepsy is about not sleeping on this potential, not sleeping on this tool. Okay, the next scene is a raft and the food. So I saw a raft, which obviously represents moving through emotional uncertainty without a fixed foundation because it was on this watery base. And the food is all about, it symbolizes abundance and something that you value that's being kind of encoded within your natural expression. It's the way that the universe desires to express itself through your unique frequency as a conduit. And so it was difficult to keep it afloat, but it continuously kept rising to the surface. And so the scene shows that what genuinely is meant to sustain you is not going to be easily lost. This is something that should keep bringing your relentless devotion. You should be able to continuously keep relentlessly devoting yourself to this path, even if you're navigating unstable waters, because it carries this true value, and that value has a way of returning itself to you as well every single time. It's something that is self-sustaining, okay? You're not sustaining yourself based upon external approval or applause, but instead it's something that you're able to do for yourself. Now, the last scene I'm going to share before I go is a fire in a kitchen and cabinets. And I saw a kitchen, which obviously represents nourishment and family patterns in this internal space of where your energy is being transformed. I'm seeing within you or behind the scenes. And it reaches this point of purification. These cabinets were completely destroyed in the fire, and somebody was trying to figure out, okay, do I kind of restructure this and try to save this previous architecture, or do I just tear the whole thing down and invest in new cabinets or build new cabinets? And so sometimes trying to save an old structure requires more energy than just allowing it to end. And I feel like the teaching is to realize that preservation, or trying to preserve an old version of self or an old reality, can not always be super sustainable to our path of healing and embodiment when it comes to really owning what the highest expanded timelines of ourself look like. And so the refurbishment is about you releasing something that just is no longer going to be enough for you. It's no longer going to be supportive, and entering into an entirely new foundation, an entirely new belief system or relationship with yourself is going to be required to really see things through to completion. This last scene is going to be super specific. It happens whenever I remote view a specific theme that's occurring, and it's all to do with a man and a new client. And it was essentially reframing the perspective and how you're seeing your own possibility in this realm, and what appeared to be a loss when it comes to someone that he thought he was going to work with, and your relationship to that instability and fearing that instability, or seeing that as the final destination, or that being, I'm seeing the path of failure, actually ended up becoming a portal of discovery, because this person was shortly redirected and shown another route forward. And so that suggests that sometimes our mind over exaggerates the consequences of change, when sometimes it's the very change that's required for that redirection to occur and take place in our life. So even when we imagine the worst possible outcome, there's still a hidden opportunity carried within that experience when it comes to the redirection and continuation of this path forward. So it just feels like, you know, rejection is protection and a redirection type of energy. You are exactly where you need to be at the time that you need to be there. You're experiencing exactly what you need to at this stage of your journey. I'm going to close out with an energy oracle message, apparently. Yeah, this storm too shall pass, right? That's something you need to know. The storm is actually already finishing. It's already over. And the temple path is some kind of thing that is going to be revealed. And it's your connection to connect with your own soul's essence through times of uncertainty. You know, I'm hearing it's that connection that you fostered with yourself. You're self-cleaner up and thinker. So there's ideas that came through that period of introspection. Thinker is this innovative process that took place in you. There could be an internal clearing that is bringing about, I'm hearing a sudden rise of new perspectives, epiphanies, insights for something that was necessary. Now, you also have the 10 of Pentacles, and the 9 of Pentacles had flipped, which is all to do with your legacy. Your legacy isn't just in what it is that you create, but it's in the way that you impact people. How do you impact people? It's from the version of self that you've become. Your success isn't just in what it is that you're going to achieve in this realm and the recognition of that. And yes, this is like financial riches and rewards, but it's also something that's incredibly rewarding to you on a soul level. And so the success is in whom it is that you've become, my love. And I think that's going to be something that holds eternal value to witness your own, I'm hearing journeying into your full potential. Yeah, this is what it is. It really reminds me of a reading that I did around God's going to make you rich and famous overnight, not because you want it, but because of what you're going to do with it. It's that type of energy. And that came through the other day. It did. I just wasn't expecting it to come through like this in the astral. So yeah, I'm going to love and leave you right there. I'm going to go because I need to get this out to you ASAP. And this could feel like an almost personal reading because that's what I say in personal readings. So yeah, I'm going to go. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, do consider subscribing. We'd love to have you around. Let me know how this is corresponding for you in your journey. I so look forward to reading the comments. And also check out Otter Spirit if you're looking for some high quality AA grade gemstones. 1/4 of the proceeds are donated towards Otter Sanctuaries. And yeah, I don't know if I said personal reading details are down below as well if you're interested. I just want to send out a quick announcement to you that in August, the personal reading prices are going to be increasing again. So during this next like 2 weeks, this is going to be your window, okay, before they do increase if you are called to receive one. And it's always a pleasure to work with you guys behind the scenes. That's some of my most like deeply treasured work that I do actually happens in the unseen. And you know, messages like this and this being able to land into your experience was something that you've called into your experience for that confirmation. And it's beautiful in the human recognition of that, because the third dimension has a way of presenting ourselves with reflections and reinforcements for the work in which we're already doing and applying ourselves to. So I feel so honored to be a part of that mirror for you, my love. So until next time, bye.